Well, good morning, Bakersfield, surrounding communities, and everybody watching online on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. This is the Early Bird Special right here on 101.1 FM, 1230 AM, KGEO Sports Talk. I'm Chris Burdick. That is Sparky. Sparky, good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
It's a long holiday week, but let them know what they're in for, my friend.
Oh, we got a jam-packed show, just like normal. Some things change, some do not. And we'll get into, we have so much to talk about, and we can't fit it all in 2 hours. But an old host of this very station, Corey Costello, took his family out to war games in San Diego, so he'll join us at 7:30. Our boys, Tyson and Trevor, one of them will show up from Open Mic Mondays
At some point.
at 8 o'clock. And then we'll wrap up the show with our boy Snacks coming back on our Monday NBA Rewind. And he'll join us at 8:30. But we've got plenty to talk about. I saw you were at a football game over the weekend.
I was. I got to go cover the Raiders and Chargers at SoFi yesterday, and unfortunately, it's the same old for the Raiders. And before I get into that, let's just address the elephant in the room. For those of you who were listening to us last week, myself and 24KG, thank you for sitting in, our friend KG, who will be with us tomorrow to talk all things wrestling as well. Obviously, if you're listening to this station and you're used to listening to this station, it usually has some different call letters for you. It has come to pass that our station and ESPN are no longer in partnership. We appreciate everything ESPN has done for us over the past couple of years. And don't worry, that doesn't mean your sports coverage is going anywhere. The exact same sports coverage from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. is going to be there the entire way through. Ourselves, Greg Kerr, you're going to have the Money Wise guys. Rich Eisen is still coming on right after us, so don't worry about that. But everything around it's going to be changing a little bit from here on. So we're going to see, let's see, I got the rundown for you right here. So I might as well let you know. You're going to have the Pat Boyle show from 11 p.m. the day before, obviously, to 3 a.m. 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. is going to be Maggie in Pierloff. And then obviously us, 7 to 9 every single weekday. Hope you join us. From 9 to 12 is still going to be Rich Eisen, as I said. 12 to 2, you're going to have Greg Kerr. From 2 to 3 is going to be Money Wise guys with our own Sparky right here. From 3 to 7 p.m., you're going to have the JR Sports Brief. And then from 7 to 11 for you Bart Winkler fans, don't worry, he's not going anywhere either. He's going to be right here on this station. You're going to have the exact same great sports coverage that you are used to, and it's not going anywhere. Don't worry. Yes, ESPN no longer affiliated. No more ESPN Bakersfield, we realize. But we appreciate everything ESPN has done for us from this point forward. And I'm sorry, from this point forward, we're going to be carrying the torch for ourselves. And honestly, this is kind of a good thing in a way. For those of you who really have been seeing in the news lately how much ESPN has been criticized for a lot of their moves and whatnot, now technically we don't have to hold back on a lot of the things we think when it comes to that. You know, a lot of the takes that we have, especially when it comes to the betting and gambling stuff that ESPN is connected to, we've had to hold back a lot of what we had to say because, well, the mouse.
You got to get away from the mouse.
You got to get away from the mouse. So from here going forward, this will be KGEO Sports Talk, 12:30 a.m., 101.1 FM, as you were used to. And you'll be hearing a little bit of different takes when it comes to the ESPN stuff, because now we won't have to hold back on any of it. So it is what it is. And I can honestly say that their assessments of a lot of the wrestling has been hogwash. But it is what it is. I like the PLE this weekend. I don't care.
It's like, what?
I think I'm more saying their grading system. Their grading system has been interesting.
I've been in radio since I was 16 years old, and that's what happens. Things grow and things move different ways, and who knows? It could all be changed here in a week or two. So who knows? But we'll keep doing what we do, and we're local, so we ain't going nowhere.
So where do you want to start, my friend? Obviously, we're going to start in the world of football because, God, was it a jam-packed weekend of football over the Thanksgiving break. But
I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about with the NFL. But, the number one story going around.
And that's what I just had to ask is, are we going to get into this Kiffin situation? Because, I mean, you texted me this on, what was it, Friday? And I was sitting there waiting. I meant to reply to you, but I was going to say, hold off. Let's wait for a sec. Maybe Kiffin really has turned a new leaf. Maybe he's not the POS we all know him to be. And maybe he was telling the truth when he went on McAfee and said, I've never made a decision based on money in my life. Hogwash. Absolute whatever. Lane Kiffin not only decided on Saturday that he will be headed to the Louisiana State University to be their next head coach. God only knows what that contract's going to look like.
I thought I read $80 million.
See, and this is what I'm talking about. I thought the entire thing there, governor, was to figure out how not to have a ridiculous contract for your head coach. But look where we are now. Anyways, Lane Kiffin will be leaving for the Louisiana State University Tigers next season. However, he's decided that he will be moving on from the Rebels effective today. He's no longer the head coach of the Rebels. How do you feel about this? I mean, Ole Miss and their fan base obviously feeling spurned by this.
Oh yeah, they were waiting on the at the airport this morning. But I mean, personally, as an LSU fan, I'm not a fan of the hire.
Really?
But number two, the more I read into it, prepping for the show, obviously he wanted to finish out the season. And when you're jumping over to a rival team, what I've read, and I mean, it's coming from the experts that actually deal with this, is that LSU is the one that had the problem with it, that they need to start taking steps in the right direction, and that they didn't want him to wait another month, and they wanted him in the building this week and start scouting. And what I've read, I mean, obviously with them announcing that they're going to go with their defensive coordinator as the head coach at Ole Miss, what I've also read is that Lane is trying to use and bring in as many coaches as he can with Ole Miss to take him over to LSU. And he actually tweeted out actually texted out to the group that the plane leaves at this time. If you're going to be with me, you're rolling with me now.
See, here's the thing. And this is why I echo the sentiments of Nick Saban, who everybody on the internet who says Nick left because of the NIL and he can't handle coaching today, you're full of it. I'm sorry. You're absolutely full of it. Nick would be just as good of a coach now as he was back in the NIL. Would he be able to recruit the way he used to? Absolutely not. There's no way. But hey.
But he didn't have to.
No, he didn't have to.
He just dropped his name.
Exactly. What he said was exactly right. This is not a player issue. This is a front office and coaching issue. We need guidelines in this NIL stuff. We need it, because as somebody who is an Atlanta Falcons fan, you guys heard me a couple weeks ago when I brought up the whole Arkansas situation with their head coach being fired and me not liking that guy because of what he did to the Atlanta Falcons a couple years ago, leaving the team mid-season. You can't do that. You cannot. I'm sorry. I don't care if LSU called you and said you need to leave today. I couldn't care less.
You want that $80 million? You do.
Fair. You're in the playoffs, though. Your team is firmly in a playoff position. LSU isn't. Maybe this is just me being a coach, but I could not fathom leaving my team that I led all the way here, all the way to the college football playoff. Do we have a shot in hell? Probably not, but who cares? You've led your team there.
Yeah, it's in the name. It's coaching.
Exactly.
You're a coach. You're a head coach.
For you to walk away like this, and again, I am not the hugest Lane Kiffin fan. As a USC fan, no, let's be honest. I don't like the coach we have right now. I hope, and we'll get to that in a second too, because he made the proverbial saying that he usually says right before he leaves the college too. And I am praying, I'm not going to lie to y'all, I am praying that this is the truth and Lincoln Riley is out of USC, because I don't think he's the answer either. But for Lane Kiffin to just uproot everything and leave Ole Miss right now with the college football playoff right on the horizon for LSU because they want you to start recruiting. First off, we all know how the recruiting is going to go nowadays. The kids that play for Ole Miss that want to leave with Lane are going to leave with Lane. You're going to need to figure out the money situation to get them from Ole Miss to LSU, but it's going to happen. You're probably going to get Trinidad over to LSU. More than likely, unless he goes into the draft, which he actually might. I can't remember if he's a junior or what his age is at the moment, so forgive me. But for LSU to sit there and say this is all because we want you to start focusing on doing this now and getting it out of the way, knock it off. You're trying to uproot a rival team that's in the college football playoff and probably make them look embarrassing in the playoff because you know If you see that team, if you're a recruit of this team and you see them get blown out in the playoff and their coach just left, guess how many people are leaving and decommitting to Ole Miss right now? All of them. Every single one. So this is chess upon chess, checkers, whatever you want to call it for LSU. It's still deplorable, though, in my opinion, for Lane Kiffin to just uproot everything and say, you know what? I'm out. Peace out. Good luck, guys. Like, I got you here, but now it's on y'all.
What kind of coach does that?
Again, I know he's the villain. I know a lot of people like to make him the villain, and I gave him the benefit of the doubt. You heard me on this show a couple weeks ago say he went on McAfee, and I think he's truly matured a little bit. Maybe he's finally figured it out since bouncing from team to team. But no, Barstool Sports made a very, very, very good point this morning. He's the villain. He's always going to be the villain. In about 2 to 3 years, he's going to be the villain again when he does this to LSU and leaves for, I don't know, Atlanta or the Dolphins, somewhere in the NFL,
no.
where he's going to end up being the head coach there because they desperately need somebody and they automatically think, oh, look, Kiffin. Because apparently everybody sees this guy as the answer to their coaching woes.
Do you think it's just a part? I mean, it happens every year, but is this just the hot coach of the year? Because that
probably.
I mean, every year there's a guy that, people overpay or reach for, and it seems like that's what LSU is doing.
I thought it was hilarious because I agree with you. This was just the hot coaching choice this year. I mean, I guess there's always going to be the Gruden talk because obviously he's still out there.
That's what I wanted.
Lane Kiffin is going to be the hottest coach on the market because he is the highest up coach on the market. But again, I want to root back to what I said at the beginning of all of this, which was a big portion, especially of Governor Landry's argument against Brian Kelly, was the amount of money he was going to get paid. And especially the payout for that, in which they finally actually fired Brian over the weekend and paid him out for it, because you can't have one argument against one head coach in court while you're just signing your next one. God, LSU is an absolute circus right now. But now we're, like Sparky said, now we're hearing the contract for Lane Kiffin was not only more than what Brian Kelly was going to get, it's significantly more. And I haven't heard a peep from Governor Landry. Governor Landry was so high and mighty to come out and say, oh, we need to find a coach for the right price. Florida did. They went and signed Tulane's head coach for a considerable amount of money. Not that crazy, but at least somebody that could probably build the program for a good, I don't know, couple $1 million. You don't have to pay him 40 to 50. But now you're looking at Lane Kiffin with 80. Come on. This wasn't a money move. I want the entire college to come out and say, nah, this was just, we were tired of Brian. I would, if we all started with that too, I think everybody would have been okay with it. But the fact that we have had to sit here and watch this circus go round and round for this long is just ridiculous with LSU. And then to go and sign a coach for more than what you signed their previous one. Yeah, we see your priorities. We know where NIL is. So again, this is wild to me, but I don't know what I was expecting. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I gave Kiffin the benefit of the doubt, and I probably shouldn't have. That's just me.
And I'm the opposite. I thought LSU would take their time and find the right guy at the right price. Nope. Instead, I believe they overpaid for a coach that they probably could have found a better one. But that's just my thoughts. Landry, I'm not a big Lane Kiffin guy.
Landry wants to highlight the Jimbo Fisher stuff so much. Lane's going to get more. I'm going to tell you that right now. Let's take a break. On the other side, we'll get to the NFL because we had some crazy games over the weekend, including the one last night where the Washington Commanders, God, I am all over the place today. I apologize. And Marcus Mariota, as they kept saying. Was I the only one that noticed that, by the way? I mean, I'm in the car with JR and we're listening to it. And I had, mind you, I have the TV feed up on my phone. And they keep calling him Marcus Mariota, like emphasizing the T. I'm like, is it just me or did that sound really weird all night? As if we've all been mispronouncing this guy's name. And then right afterwards in the next sentence, they'll go, Marcus Mariota. Okay, what is it? Is it tuh or duh? What are we going with here? It's the weirdest thing in the world. We'll get to all of that. Plus, We got some wrestling to talk about because Survivor Series was over the weekend. I personally loved it. I had a couple people text me and say they hated it. We'll get to their thoughts as well. And yours, 661-842-2000. Feel free to text or call in at any point in time. We would love to talk to you right here on the Early Bird Special. We will be right back.
Welcome back. Police report 7 years, 91 million. 7 years, 91 million. How much
You
you
know,
want to bet he doesn't make that seventh year?
oh, what? Heck no. How much you want to bet he doesn't make it the fourth year?
That's what I was thinking.
And you know what's
Gosh.
funny? People wondered a couple years ago when I got into coaching and started doing it a little bit more and more than I do now. I can barely do it now because of how little time I have. And trust me, I have people asking me to be a baseball coach, be a basketball coach, and I appreciate all of you, but I just don't have the time for that. You wonder why I wanted to get into coaching at the college and professional level? $91 million. Now, granted, this is the head coach of a very, very prestigious SEC college. And theoretically, they're not bringing you in for 91 million to make the playoff like they did at Ole Miss. If you don't win a championship within the first 3 years, much like Nick Saban did, much like Coach O did, you're gonna be fired by that 4th year.
Another coach on the payroll.
And then we're gonna have the next Louisiana governor up on the podium, the front podium, just saying we overpaid this guy. Now the people of Louisiana have to pay for it, which again, I don't know if that's the case. I think Landry was kind of full of it on that one. Reaching. Yeah. I get what he meant, but that's not necessarily
Unless
the
he's
way
just
it was
talking
coming
about
out.
people that are buying tickets, maybe.
Right. And that was the other thing that he had brought up, that he was very, very angry that the ticket prices had gone up. But again, it's sports, dude. Like everything, all ticket prices have gone up. All of them. Like, I don't know. We're talking about WWE prices getting to be ridiculous levels now. So I'm not 100% sure what you're expecting there, Landry. But again, it's kind of hypocritical, in my opinion, for you to have fired somebody in Brian Kelly and went about what you did to try to not pay this man the money he was owed. And now you're going to sign Lane Kiffin to even more. That's absolutely absurd to me, but it is what it is. Let's talk a little wrestling, though, since we're going to be getting into Survivor Series after the break with our first guest. We have to talk about this, man. It was fantastic to watch, in my opinion. Plus, the Raw and SmackDown beforehand, building it up was perfect. What was your favorite part of Survivor Series?
Liv.
Yeah, I had a feeling it would be.
Liv, and
we knew the return was coming eventually.
Yeah, and WWE will randomly get me. I'm usually on top of it when they try to do change ups, and I thought for sure she was turning on Dom.
Nah, well,
but I was like, okay.
I was too, but not in the way she was doing it.
Yeah.
Like the way she was doing it made it way too played out. And then I was like, okay, yeah, no, this is a double turn or something of that nature. I'm not sure what we're looking at here. Plus, the slap didn't really make contact either.
Yeah, and then there was a couple of those even during the women's match, which I enjoyed War Games. I'm not going to complain about it.
No,
but there was some botched moves in those first couple matches. But my thing was the mystery guy, and I did read this morning that Paul Heyman will announce who this mystery guy was tonight on Raw.
Of course he will.
I personally, I'm still on the fence. I don't think it was Seth.
The mystery guy is going to take out Logan Paul tonight, because if you watch the post game or the post show, I
didn't. What happened?
They had Paul. They had Paul up there, like at the desk with Tessitore and Big E and everybody, and then behind him was Bronson, Braun, and Logan. He let Bronson and Logan talk, and then the final question was, "Is Logan Paul and the Vision a permanent thing?" Yeah, Paul didn't answer. He very much avoided the question, all that type of stuff. So it makes me believe that's probably going to end up being, I don't know, probably Austin Theory or somebody that was planned to be in the group originally. He's going to come in, knock Logan out, and then we're going to see the true 3-man Vision that we've been all waiting for. Or it's Seth coming back, because there was a rumor before the PLE that he was progressing very quickly. I just don't know if he wants to get off that desk job he's got right now. Him sitting there talking on NFL Live every morning, or Good Morning Football, I mean.
I just don't think it's him.
I don't think so either.
I think the whole reason,
stomp was perfect, though.
Yeah, and he did it. I mean, I think that's one of the main reasons that they hid his hair and hid all the whole thing. And I just don't think it was him.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is.
I had several friends. Oh, your boy's back. Your boy. Nah, it's not him, dude. I don't think it's him.
I hope it's Austin Theory. I genuinely hope it's Austin Theory. He's been gone far too long, but I don't think the body fit unless he slimmed down tremendously.
Right. And I've had surgeries, and I know it happens, but
but that's a
the opposite way.
Considerable amount of muscle mass that's
usually
missing
after
from Austin.
surgery, you chunk up.
Right, exactly.
But I just don't think it was him. But I mean, overall, I loved it, and I didn't get to watch SmackDown, so I missed that. But
SmackDown is brewing something kind of interesting. We're getting a little bit of a feud between Jade Cargill and Chelsea Green, which I think is going to be fun, especially with Chelsea now regaining her U.S. championship.
My question, which I'll ask again with Corey and probably tomorrow with KG, but with the Final Four in the last bracket, I was surprised
the
Final Four, but
Well, should have been Penta and Gunther.
Yeah. And, Dom got me too on that injury. I was like, nah, it's Dom. It's going to be
No,
a
it's full
different
of it.
injury.
Yeah.
But my thing is now that it's LA Knight, Uso, I mean, who do you think pulls that out? And then Gunther.
It better be LA Knight. I swear. If I I don't want to see Jay versus John. I don't
No,
want to
I don't
see
either.
Gunther versus John.
I,
I'd take Solo versus John, but
I'm
the
still leaning
only
on
one
Solo.
that I'm like, I really want to see this is LA Knight against John Cena. It would be so much fun. I know we're not going to get a whole ton of time to build it up, and they're not going to have a whole
In
ton of
2
time to
weeks.
have the mic standoff that I would want, which I would think would be the greatest back and forth of this
Oh,
generation.
yeah.
But I know it's going to be Gunther.
I sure hope
They're
it's not.
building it that way. It's just the way it happens. And everybody on the internet's now, oh, he's going to retire Goldberg and Cena in the same year. That's going to be like, I don't think you guys realize how boring that's going to
That
be.
is.
And how, like, just if we're going to get that, I'd rather have Brock do it. If we're going to get that, I would rather have Brock Lesnar come in and just say, yeah, whoever win that tournament, shut up. You don't get him. I get him.
I hope you're right with LA Knight because I mean, it's overdue. I personally think if it's going to talk about the future, I think Solo is perfect. I would pick Solo over
Yeah.
Gunther, but I've read, Gunther supposedly tweeted out that he's gonna finish off Cena, blah 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 blah, and in the world of wrestling, all the rumors, you can hear it left and right. But are those matches tonight? I believe too.
Yes.
So we should have our winner, or at
Or
least
at
our
least the final
championship.
for Friday.
And I hope it. I
I
hope it's
hope
not
it's
Gunther, man.
I'm hoping the final is LA Knight and Gunther. I really am. I would love for it to be that. So LA Knight ends up winning somehow, some way, and pulls it off. Because it's not going to be Solo. Solo, that's what you miss. If you miss Saturday, you miss Solo and the Wyatts. Because Solo and the MFTs are now going to be facing off with the Wyatts coming up.
Nice.
The way it
We've
ended on
been waiting on
Saturday.
that.
Exactly. And somehow them putting a female in all this for the MFTs as well. I need Panina. I need Panina.
She'd be perfect.
She really would be. And I don't know why we're taking this long to do it, but it is what it is. But no, it's going to be a fantastic build up here to the next play or PLE. My favorite part, to be honest with you, Brock's entrance to the match, not waiting for Jay to run it back, like just sitting there saying, we're done with this. And then coming in as Brock Lesnar does. I was very, very surprised, though, how little he had to do with the match outside of that. Like, I know it's been a minute since he's been in a wrestling ring. And I also know it's been 21 years since he's ever wrestled with a partner, let alone 4. But for him not to be involved in a lot, especially the ending of the match, that genuinely shocked me.
It had
I
nothing to do with it.
I am happy though that we saw Braun Breaker be the one to pin CM Punk because that means that we will most likely see Braun Breaker against CM Punk. I would think at WrestleMania.
When he put up his trunks and then put him back down.
Yeah, that needs to stop. That's
I
like
was like, what is he doing?
no, but see that is the humor in it, which I do
Yeah.
enjoy. But at the same time, I'm watching him like that's the most unrealistic thing on the planet. There's not a single person in the middle of a fight that's going to go about it that way
Take
in a
it off
wrestling.
and put it back in.
It's
We'll
fantastic.
take our break. We'll get back into wrestling with somebody that was actually in attendance. And I'm a little jealous, but we'll get into that and much more right here on the Early Bird Special.
Welcome back. Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. God, say it's going to take me a second to get used to it. Let's talk more wrestling, though, with somebody who was actually in attendance at Survivor Series in San Diego over the weekend, and that'll be our friend Corey Costello. Sir, how are you?
Good morning, guys. I'm doing good. Just getting back from the we beat traffic back from San Diego yesterday, so that was helpful.
Did you? See, I had to go. I was trekking back from LA, and we got caught up in a little bit of it, but it wasn't that bad. How long was the drive for you guys?
Oh man, 3:45 door to door, good to go. A couple young kids in the car, a few stops included. So yeah, it was awesome.
That's
it worked out just well.
You didn't have to deal with are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there?
No,
yet?
man. Thank God for iPads or whatever. Fire
that is the world's
headphones.
best babysitter right now. I swear to God, it's an iPad. That
Well,
is
I was telling
fantastic.
Corey before that, man, I wish my dad would have took me to a Survivor Series, but you know, growing up, we didn't get a lot of PLEs in that area. So, I mean, we talked about this too. My first wrestling was at the good old convention center, and that was my first appearance with The Undertaker.
I remember the first time. I remember the first time I went. It was February 8th, 1988, Convention Center. I remember it because you had to watch like Wrestling Challenge back in the day to say when they would say, "Hey, here's what's coming up," and they'd have the little flying airplane and all the shows. I remember seeing Bakersfield, and I wrote the phone number down, and of course my parents had to call and get tickets, and they got mailed to us. Remember when they came in the mail, my dad's like, "I'm putting them in my wallet." And then that night we got a snowstorm in Tehachapi, or the night before. And so he's like, "We're making it no matter what." So we loaded in his old 75 work truck. We had blankets and food and everything just in case we got stuck. Nice. Made it down to the convention center, left a big pile of snow in our parking spot. And it was pretty awesome, to do that. And we went to 3 or 4 more together, actually, when I was a kid, every time they came to the convention center. So it was definitely special. I didn't go to no Survivor Series, though, that's for sure, when I was a kid.
Well, you did over the weekends. I mean, obviously we watched it with the PLE. It looked massive. Mm-hmm. And I mean, just as a fan taking your kids, I mean, how was the whole experience?
I think like you got to give it 2 grades first. First, you got to give it the kids grade, right? People forget like this is mostly for the kids. Yeah, it was an A for them, right? They loved it. We partially went because my oldest, he's 8, John Cena fan, next to last match. So we had to get him there. Of course, and he's, I've learned him up a bit. He knows how it works, but he was still really bummed when he lost. And he's like literally crying in his seat. And I had to remind him, like, it's a show, man. Remember, it's a show. We talked about this. But then by the time that the men's war game match came on, like he was screaming the entire time. And so both my kids loved it. They had a great time. So for kids standpoint, A+, I'd say probably is a C+ show on the other side for the adults that understand how it all works. But it was massive, 46,000 in attendance at Petco. I've been at Petco a ton of times for baseball. Definitely way more people than any Padres game I've ever been to. But the only downside is I know they're talking about possibly doing another stadium show. I think they did a good job with Petco, but getting into that thing was a nightmare. And I think it was the Padres' responsibility because the 1 or 2 staff members they had on the street, that was it. And it was chaos. There were lines everywhere, and people were like, "What's this line for?" I think it's to get in. We stood in the line. We were supposed to go in on the third base side because that's where our seats were. Mm-hmm. And the line that we were in wrapped us all the way around, past center field, towards right field almost. And then it looped around again. And by the time I got to the front, the line was looping again to go to the outfield gate. And I'm like, wait a second, that's not our gate. And then I poke around the corner and the line for our gate wasn't even as long. And so it was just there was no direction. Thankfully, the WWE Universe people were well behaved and there was no issues. But and it's San Diego, pretty nice city. But if you're in Philly and you pull that, you're trying to have a show at the Link, it's going to be absolute chaos and blood and guts in the streets. So that was the only bummer. It's there was zero logistics outside the stadium, and it was a disaster getting in. But once we were in, it was fine.
Well, talk about where you guys were sitting and all that too, because as I've also been to Petco for a couple baseball games, and I've been trying to wrap my head around how they structured this and how the stage was set. How was it visually for you guys, and especially for maybe those people that were up in the nosebleeders? Do you think those are actually worth it?
Yeah, I've actually seen photos of people that are up there, and it didn't look like a bad seat, honestly. I mean, we were in 122, which is third base side, probably 4 sections away from the Western Metal Supply building, and we were down in the lower levels. But it was perfect because we weren't floor seat level, so we didn't have to stand except when like a few people stood in front of us to catch the intros and stuff of who was coming out in the next War Games match. So like great seat. The stage was pretty much set at about second base. I specifically got those seats to make sure we were basically behind the announcers. So we're like Michael Cole and all them were at, you know, we were just as it started to rise up in the background back there. So great seat there, tons of video boards everywhere to see. You know, it was, of course, being War Games, it's hard to see inside the cage, you know, without looking up at the monitor the entire time. But and then they set the only pretty big disappointment was the stage was so small because they were basically building it on top of the Padres dugout. Is what they do. And so, you know, the gorilla position and everything is coming out of the dugout. And so it made for a very small stage. You literally could not see the people walk out and you had to look up at the monitor. So, I mean, and they talked about it before the show on the early show, the pre-show, you know, they had it on in the stadium, and Triple H actually talked about the fact that very happy to be in San Diego, but ballparks create a lot of logistical issues, but they did a great job. I mean, the set, the stage, everything was very cool. I appreciated the fact when they kicked the show off, they didn't try to use fireworks during the daytime. They used whatever those smoke bomb things were, which actually were a lot cooler than shooting fireworks off in the daytime. You know, those aren't cool until it gets to be dark. So
yeah, on the intro at the beginning of the show, when they did all the different lights, I mean, that was pretty cool. But that's what I was going to ask you. One, how is the weather? Yeah. And two, I mean, I've gone to concerts at, you know, ballparks, and I catch myself, especially like the SoFi, with the screen is so damn big, I catch myself watching the screen instead of watching what's in front of me.
Yeah, no, that was me a lot of the night because they had 4 screens on top of the ring, basically, you know, and there was actually 2 stages. There's actually 2 screens inside the ring that the performers could look at as well. But no, they had 4 massive screens up on all 4 sides of the big stage they built. And then of course, Petco had all their screens going as well. Their giant one, it's in left field, and then the one kind of in right center. So yeah, most of the night though, I just found myself looking up at the screen because I'm old. I can't see that far, you know, trying to look in the ring. But yeah, it was set. You could pretty much see it from anywhere based on the amount of video boards they had.
That's awesome. Well, you gave it a C+, obviously. So I'll ask you the same question I asked Sparky. What was your favorite part, and what was your least favorite part of Saturday?
Favorite part, I think the favorite part for me most likely was just just see, I have a great video of it too. Like John Cena's entrance, my son's reaction to that, right? He was losing his mind, and like I videoed both of that, you know, it was really cool. So he was pumped, and that was probably that was one of my favorite matches. I think that was a great angle, you know, and you know, Dom is so over right now. He's doing such a great job with this character. I mean, he's in San Diego, his hometown, and he had such a mixed reaction from the crowd. And it was like, okay, that's perfect. Like that's even in his hometown, people are like still either not on board or they love him. So it was a perfect mix. And he's doing such a phenomenal job now, and his character is so great. And I think they did a great job on that. You know, with the Liv Morgan return and everything was very cool. Kind of the double cross. So that was probably the favorite part. Least favorite part, I think it was really the men's War Game match. I think they worked really safe this year because last year was such a bloodbath. I mean, they had, you had Bronson Reed breaking both ankles, jumping off the cage. You had Jim Uso breaking a toe. And so like they worked really safe this year because they had so much star power in that ring. They couldn't afford to really lose anybody, even though Braun Breaker almost broke his neck on that, Legion of Doom.
That was ugly.
Yeah, it was ugly. And I don't know if you saw it on TV, but like he rolls to the side of the ring and Medical goes over there. They actually opened the gate on 2 occasions to check on him in the corner. I don't know where the cameras were at the time, but they were, and I thought they're going to pull him. Like what happens when they pull him? And, the timing actually worked out because the next entrance was coming in. And so it's like, shoot, it was go, no go. And he decided to stick around, and he looked to be okay, got back into it. But that was scary. I mean, everyone kind of looked at each other and went, oh no, because he landed right in the back of his head.
Well, and for him to end the match too with that super spear, that's high velocity, man. That's got to hurt your neck at the same time. He's got to be hurting today.
Yeah, I mean, he was holding a little bit walking back at the end, and you don't know how much he's selling or how much it actually hurt. But that one definitely hurt, and that was. But yeah, if they'd have pulled him out, like that was the finish. So what happened then? Like what was, what was? And I think he realized that, right? So he had to finish it. So I think he looked all right, but I mean, good thing his neck is as big as it is because he probably has a little extra muscle cushion in there.
Got some padding there.
Yes.
Yeah, but that match, yeah, it was okay. I just kind of, just watching pretty much Cody Rhodes and CM Punk just get pummeled the entire time. It's like, these are your two champions. Like, they got to show some offense at some point, and they really didn't. And then, the Brock Lesnar, same stuff. I'm like a bunch of F5s, and then Roman Reigns, a bunch of Superman punches and spears. Are like, all right, dude, give me something else.
I say it every week. I'm not a big Roman guy, but that super punch has got to go.
Dude,
I mean, it's so weak.
That's literally the logo, though. That's his jump, man. You can't get rid of that now.
Well, my other question is, I've got two questions. One, how was the crowd when the mystery guy came out? I mean, what was the mumbling of who they think it is?
Yeah, it was a lot of confusion. And there was this guy in front of me. He was a super fan, and he just kept, he was going on all night about all the things he's seen, and he's talking to the guy next to him. I don't think he knew the guy. I felt bad for the guy next to him. He's like, I don't hate his next to this guy. But, everybody was kind of like, no way that's Seth Rollins, because the guy's still legit hurt. Like, no way with a shoulder injury he's climbing the cage at this point. And this guy's like, well, why would he do Seth Rollins' move if it wasn't Seth Rollins? I'm like, have you not watched wrestling ever?
Yeah, like, that happens all the time.
They're throwing you off the scent, man.
Exactly.
So yeah, there were some boos afterward. I think there was this kind of, I think there were some over exaggerations about the amount of boos. Like, there were some boos because it really was an odd finish, kind of anticlimactic. I'm really convinced now, though, that this is probably, now it wasn't him physically. They put some other stooge in a black, but it's probably the angle to work Chris Jericho back into things because, he's obviously looking at a contract. I think, though, they played it safe because if they had the contract inked, he would have unmasked then. But I think they're basically playing it safe. Like, okay, this is a totally mask covered person. And if we don't get the Jericho deal done, great. We'll throw out Austin Theory or something else. So I think that's what it was. I don't think they even know who it was yet because they're trying to finalize the deal.
Well, tonight they're supposed to, Heyman is supposed to, reveal who it was. And I did read this morning prepping for the show that they have offered Jericho a retirement.
I did see that as
retirement contract. So maybe it is. But my other question is, just as a wrestling fan that, have never been to a PLE, do they do dark matches before or after the show?
No, there was no dark matches, man. This was a 4-match card, and that was exactly what it was. There was no dark matches. There was, there was basically, they kicked it off with a women's match, and then it was, boom, boom. Obviously, you have the TV breaks, but they weren't even terrible. I will say every time the Riyadh season ad comes on, there's always a bunch of boos from the crowd after that plays. I think they learned their lesson not to bring the Crown Prince out on stage like they did in previous PLEs because people just completely lost their minds and booed. But there was no dark matches, and it was, as advertised on the only thing that we saw that you didn't see on TV were the introductions of the ring announcers and the announce team. That was it. Everything else was, just as it was on television.
Last question for you, because I know we got to let you go. I know you're busy. Was I the only one that missed having everybody in a cage at the end of the runway, though? I mean,
yeah, no, I thought about that too, and I think logistically it wasn't going to work. Like, if you look at the size of Heyman's team, there's no way you're getting Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and Brock Lesnar in a cage. No shot. Like, yeah, you could squeeze Logan Paul in there, but like, you ain't getting those dudes in a cage. Like, it's just impossible. Like, that's just too much mass.
Now I'm thinking about it, though. They had the entire Samoan bloodline in one of them. That's a lot of man. That's a lot of man. That one.
That is true. I think probably, I think they did also want to get as much. And it was kind of cool because it kind of had a Royal Rumble feel. Like, everybody would count from 10, and then the intro music would hit. You knew after a while, like, okay, there's one guy left. This is going to be. But I think I was okay with it. I think the cage is kind of lame, and honestly, with that much mass and with that much star power, like, you want to give everybody the intro as much as possible. I think that was part of the stage was tiny. Like, it was going to probably hard to get those guys. They weren't elevated. That was part of the problem too. If they'd have been on a ramp, maybe, but they would have been pretty much tucked away. You would be able to see them. Wasn't much room on that stage. So.
As long as Brock didn't slip this time, I think everybody was happy.
Yeah, no, he was. You could tell he even looked down at his footing real quick. It was as flat as can be, and he did not slip. And
he didn't kick the leg up nearly as high as he did on Monday. That was
there were no issues, but it was cool. I mean, the kids loved it, and it was the Superstore was great. I didn't have to drop too much money, but it amazes me how much money people are spending on this stuff, man. I mean, they're dropping $700 for titles, and there should be a new rule, man. If you wear a title to a match, you have to defend it. It's 24/7 rules. Like you get hit in the concourse, like someone's taking that belt from you because
yeah,
it's a little ridiculous. Like
absolutely.
if you're gonna buy it for your man cave, that's cool. Buy it for your man cave, put it on a shelf. But if you wear it as an adult to an event, like you got to defend that title.
Yep. Especially if someone runs up with you with a suit or the briefcase. Nope, we're doing money.
Yeah, I'm cashing in, man. Like it's nuts.
Oh, that's awesome. And real quick, actually, do you mind how much did you pay for the tickets?
I think we were probably, I want to say probably around 300 a piece.
See, that's not bad.
It wasn't terrible. Yeah.
You guys were sitting. That's not terrible.
Yeah, they were good seats. And then to see, though, what people are spending, because they had a massive amount of floor seats. I mean, they covered the entire baseball diamond. For the most part, they had a big part of what would be kind of left center field all blocked off for cameras and everything and sound. But, I mean, there are people paying way more for floor seats that couldn't see, especially the floor seats like further back from me. I'm like, why are you sitting down there? If you're up close to the barricade, I get it. But, like, your announcer side way far back, like why not just pay for something a little higher up so you can actually see? So yeah, I mean, for what we paid, that was great. A couple of nights hotel. Someone said, oh, you can't put a price on that experience for your kids. I was like, oh, I can. About 2 G's. That was the price.
You definitely put a price tag on it. Well, sir, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. We know you got to go, but we will talk to you soon.
All right, I got to pay off this debt from Survivor Series, so I got to get to work. Thanks, boys.
Thanks, man. We got to take a break as well. Let's pay some bills. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back. I just realized. What song is it? Okay, actually, you know what? I'm not against
I'm
this.
telling you, I
I'm not
found
against
some good
this.
stuff.
Like this sounds just like T-Pain got his hands on it.
Trying to do Pearl Jam.
A little bit. A little bit.
I I'd slap myself if I didn't mention it. At least give some love to EO Sky
Yes.
because
Oh
that
no.
jump from the top with the dumpster
As she's
or
done the
trash can
last
like she
3
always
years,
does.
and to have her own trash can now
Yes.
is fantastic. But the other thing that I keep realizing, we're all talking about the worst part of the night being the men's War Games match, which again was a pretty dang good match in my opinion. And we haven't even brought up Nikki and Steph.
And she just beat the crap out of her.
I mean, again, if we're going to talk about a low point in the night, we're going to talk about the match that no one is talking about.
It was a dead match.
And it's not because Stephanie didn't do a good job. It's not because Nikki didn't do a good job. I think it's just because this match was one that not a lot of people really wanted to see.
And are we done with her?
Yeah,
Please.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of my thing. Is like, can we be done with this? Like, I love that they're trying to do the legend against the new. You know what I mean? Like they've done it many times. They did it with Tiffy and Trish. I mean, they did it with Lyra and Becky. They're going to continue to do it many times over with every new face that you're going to see in the women's division going in, because that is honestly what's going to drive this women's division, is to know that all of these women coming in are going to be way better than the women you grew up watching. That's the whole point. But yeah, this one needs to be done, because Stephanie is already leaps and bounds better of a wrestler than Nikki ever was. And I love Nikki Bella. I love her sister Brie too. But that match, if that match showed anything, it showed that Stephanie is leagues above Nikki Bella. Way, way better than Nikki.
It was an ugly match.
It really was. But again, it got the point across. It got the deal done. I love what we get from the new faces of the women's division, in how they're really going about building themselves as well. I'm waiting to see who Julia is going to be put up against, because she's next, and she is a fantastic talent. Honestly, I'd love to see Julia go against Jade. I really would. I think Julia's on that level. I think she could be a main event talent right now. So we'll see what the WWE decides to do. I, for one, am very, very excited to see what happens tonight in tonight's Raw, and we get to figure out who that masked man was. I think Corey's right. I genuinely think that was just a body double for right now. Whoever was in the black setup probably won't be who was in the black setup today.
I'm trying to figure it out today.
And I did not consider Chris Jericho being a option. There is a little bit of history between him and Paul Heyman. There is a retirement storyline that would brew from it. I could see it.
Bring him in, and while Cena's leaving.
I could see it. I'm just saying, because all these guys are going to start getting their retirement storylines. Rey Mysterio, Sheamus. I mean, all the big faces for the WWE are all going to start getting retirement runs, because John has now set the bar that high. Now, are they all going to be to his level? Absolutely not. But because he's retiring, all of your favorite wrestlers, at least if you're a millennial, you're going to want to jump on the wave now, because they're all leaving. And they ain't coming back.
Trevor's coming in from Open Mic Mondays. He'll let you know. Plus, we got to talk about what was the NFL this week, because there was all sorts of curveballs, more injuries.
Joe Burrow's back, baby.
The Steelers aren't. I mean, there was so much we could get into. Plus, you were at a game.
And Aaron Rodgers is blaming the wide receivers.
Of course he is.
Saying that no one shows up to film. That's going to go over great with the homies.
And what was it? The lineman coming out attacking Josh Allen, saying he stepped on him, and it's just so much drama. And of course it was Cam Hayward.
Yep, of course it is. But it is what it is. We'll get to it. All that by and by after the break. This is the Early Bird Special. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Early Bird Special Hour 2 right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. See, I tripped myself up on the numbers that time, Sparky. That's how much that's going to be.
Hey, we'll get there.
It's day one. It's day one. Okay, we're all going to get through this. We're all going to get into it. But we got another fantastic guest in the house. Tyson could not join us today due to some sort of issue. He didn't tell us what it was, but we do have his right-hand man.
I think he hurt his finger, hand, or something.
Did Pamela, grasp too tight? What's happening here?
I think he was just trying to go out to, the Herbert way.
Yeah, well, oh, you know what? That's true too. Yeah. And actually, that puts me in fantastic position
to not have to do an open mic.
Nope, not at all. And actually, you know what? It is kind of a cop out though, because we did say that injuries would be some sort of deterrent. So maybe we'll just call the whole thing out. But Trevor's here, his right hand man. What's up, man?
I am excited to be here. Thanks for having me, guys. Excited to be with you. Less excited to talk about sports though. After the week my teams have had.
Should we start with the Lions or should we start with the open mic? It's up to you.
We can start with the Lions, the open mic. If you guys want to talk English Premier League, we can talk about the up and down week my beloved Everton had. I'm good with all of it.
Well, let's start with the Lions. Because I'm not going to lie to you, English Premier League, you're a little outside of my wheelhouse on that one.
That's fine.
You really are. But your Lions are, I said it last week before we went on our Thanksgiving break. Myself and KG broke down the games for everybody. And as much as I love your team, y'all have been nothing short of inconsistent the last, 6 weeks? 1 week you'll score 40, the next week you'll score 16. Obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown going down in the first drive killed me. Because he is my number one player in fantasy football this year.
Yeah, but this is.
How do you feel as a Lions fan? Like, how do you feel the division is wrapping up? Because as I told you during the break, I think you and the Packers are really killing each other while the Bears kind of just trot along into the championship.
I always say that as a Lions fan, I feel like a lot of Lions fans can identify with this. I go into every new season a lot like the same way I go into every new relationship. Like, I know my heart's going to get broken at some point. Yeah. It's just a question of when and if they're going to show me a good time before it happens.
Brother, I'm a Falcons fan. I'm a glutton for punishment. We lost to the Jets on Sunday. I don't even want to talk about football. Like, that's how bad it is.
Yeah, no.
So I completely sympathize.
Yeah, no, my one bright spot in football right now is the fact that my college football team fired their head coach and the long, boring nightmare is over there. So
I mean, well, you could talk about that in a second, but with Detroit,
it's the
moving the way it is.
Even
with Hutch on the defensive side too, it's like it. What do you think is missing? Do you think it's just the fact that you guys don't have the coordinators anymore?
I think partially it's the fact that maybe not on the defensive side, but on the offensive side, definitely, because we're just not able to play that possession ball game anymore. And you can see the defense getting worn down by the end of the game.
Well, you're not even switching out the running backs as much as you used to.
Exactly. And I think that's all. I love Dan Campbell so much, but the man is not an offensive genius. He's not an offensive guru. This is not what he's meant to do. And him running the offense was a Band-Aid at best. And I think we're now starting to see the downside of that. And the problem with not having a true offensive coordinator in your system. And wow, with what Chicago's doing, it really seems like we did lose something with Ben Johnson, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, I've always said you guys were the beneficiary of something in the NFL that I think every team needs to start mimicking, which is you need to find two coordinators that honestly could be head coaches.
Right.
Like those guys that I do believe a lot of these guys that are head coaches are like borderline head coach to offensive or defensive coordinator. McDaniels, we've talked about a couple of times. I know Sparky feels this way a little bit, that he may just be a really good offensive coordinator.
Oh, yeah.
And those are the guys that you need to grab to either complement the head coach that you have or make the team even better.
Yeah, those are the guys who are with a coach that's been with the team for 20 years and they've been their OC the entire time.
Yes.
And he has no desire to leave.
I mean, look at the Patriots, dude. You get Vrabel and McDaniels back and they're back to looking like the Tom Brady days.
Oh, exactly. And some of those guys just have to learn like, oh, my best position really is. It's kind of the reverse Michael Scott effect. It's like, oh, I need to not promote myself out of my own job where I'm good at.
And that's what's been the Dolphins issue.
Yeah.
As a Dolphin fan. We get an offensive-minded head coach, and the defense goes to crap.
Yep.
And then, we had a defensive-minded coach. Our defense was top 5 defense, and our offense was crap. I just wish they can link them at the same time. And, I'd probably have hair by now. But looking at the Lions 7-5, And the next 5 weeks are going to be rough.
They're
I mean, they
brutal.
start with Dallas, then at the Rams. You can probably pull the win out at the Pittsburgh Steelers, but who
Yeah.
knows with the Steelers. And then they finish it off with at Minnesota and Chicago.
At Minnesota, I would give you 2 out of those 5.
Yeah.
I'll give you
it's-
Minnesota and Pittsburgh. But I wouldn't want to play Dallas right now. I definitely wouldn't want to play the Rams right now.
Especially after that loss.
If
Yeah.
the Lions somehow make the playoffs, that's a Christmas present from above. I am.
There's still a chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Well, I mean, you have to hope one of the 49ers or the Seahawks kind of have just absolutely spiral, but there's a chance.
There's a chance, and I mean, unfortunately, I was a lot more hopeful about this before I heard the latest Frank Ragnow news over the weekend, because Thanksgiving was one thing, and then because I was one of those guys that I was like, Frank the Tank is coming back.
Yeah.
He's gonna help our playoff push. He's gonna solidify the O-line. We got this, baby.
I didn't want to be the Debbie Downer, but when I saw that over the weekend, right after the show, I was like, there's no way. There's no way. This dude retired because of his injuries. And for all of it to come down to a grade 3 sprain that he would be out with the rest of the season, I'm like, dude, as nice as this is, you're not Aaron Donald coming back for the Rams, which is also a possibility, I hear.
Oh yeah, at first I was totally bought into the Detroit sports tap line where everyone was like, oh, he just wanted to take the fall off to go deer hunting. That's all it was. Frank just wanted to go deer hunting, and he had a bad neck. I get it. But now I've gotten to the point where I've taken the full journey through acceptance of this, and now I'm kind of mad at Frank, where it's like, bro, you took a year off, and you knew you had something wrong with your hamstring to the point it's a grade 3 strain, and you wasted everybody's time saying you were coming back. You
were hoping you can
me?
get that across the NFL doctors without being flagged. I'm like, I don't know how you were, but was he not limping on the way into the training facility?
What are you thinking, my guy?
Unless this happened over the weekend and you're trying to blame it as a bad back or some old people kind of thing, I don't know what your plan was.
On the other hand, that's an even worse side, because if the corpse of Frank Ragnow is you guys need some help.
Yes.
No, you're in a bad place.
Well, look, I think him coming back to the team in some facet would have been good, though. You could still have him in the locker room as one of those veteran leaders. You don't necessarily need him on the field.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think him coming in rally the offensive line.
Oh yeah, I think you have to have him involved one way or the other, and I think that would be part of the reason why this is starting. And he's going to be back hopefully next. We'll see how that goes, but yeah, once I heard that really a grade 3 hamstring strain, you're trying to pass an NFL medical with, my guy. Why are you wasting our time? Why are you getting my hopes up?
It's again, I think he genuinely thought he had a shot to come back. I don't know why he thought he can get a strain past an NFL doctor. That's the only thing that I can't wrap my head around. This had to have happened over the weekend.
Yeah.
He was playing pickup football on Thanksgiving with the family and went, oh my,
no,
and pulled the string. Exactly.
I can't do this.
Did something over the weekend.
Yeah,
there's no way you had this and full knowing going in and then said, no, I could play football. I could totally play football.
Well, I did see the St. Brown injury is not severe. He may miss, so he's probably going to miss a couple weeks. But if the season goes longer for the Detroit Lions, I mean, I've seen crazier things.
It's absolutely true. And honestly, in the NFL, I was hearing a lot of this yesterday on the internet, but I don't think there's a single team that's a favorite right now to win anything. Every time we sit there and say one of these guys is the overwhelming favorite to win the Super Bowl, they blow up. I mean, look at the Rams this past weekend against the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
Who saw that coming? 11-point favorite, and they lost outright. That, I don't know what the heck you're going to get from them. I don't know what we're going to get from Denver. They could have lost yesterday if it wasn't for one batted pass.
There's a lot of them.
Weird.
I mean, Buffalo. A
Buffalo's
couple weeks
a
ago,
great
everyone
one.
was, it's Buffalo.
The Patriots tonight, if they lose to Jackson Dart and the Giants,
could
could
very
you
well
imagine?
happen.
Yeah. Oh, it's. I guess my big hope is just that I don't have to deal with the owner of the well, Dan Betts, who's a Chicago Bears fan. I just don't want to have to deal with him all spring and summer. I don't want to have to deal with him talking trash to me all spring and summer long. I don't want to have to deal with that.
He brought this up during the break, and I have to bring this up now because I think this would be great. We need to set up some sort of NFC North. I need a Vikings fan. If we know any Vikings fan that's also a comedian, you need to be in on this. I need a panel. him, Anthony Howdeggy, Dan Betts, and whoever wants to be the Vikings fan, and we'll film it and we'll put it on this YouTube channel or whatever you guys want to do. But a whole comedy hour of the four of them would be fantastic. Are you kidding?
I can probably text Howdeggy and get him on board with this right now, because
yes.
literally the second the game ended on Thursday, I got a photo of the what is it, the ticker on the bottom of the screen from the game saying Packers first time beating sweeping Lions in regular season since 2020. And I'm just like,
I will let you guys bring whatever. I will mediate it along with Sparky, and we'll let you bring whatever you want to roast each other's teams. Don't roast each other, but each other's teams, and that would be comedy gold.
As long as Dan Betts agrees not to threaten anybody's stage time, I will 100%
Yeah,
agree
you
to
know
that.
what? That's a good point. That's a very good point. Putting you in charge or against the boss.
He did
was
come
a
on
great
2 weeks ago. Said the well is close to opening. It's
next month.
January. Yes, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, I'm for that. As long as Dan does the military thing of rank doesn't apply and puts the lieutenant's bars on the table. Like, if he does that, I'm in for it.
Well, all right, ball's in Dan's court. Then we're gonna have to figure that out. Since we're already in the comedy area, though, let's talk about the open mic. Obviously, it's been fantastic. You guys have been doing a great job over there at Firehouse. How's everything going?
It's going well. We're getting a lot of traction. We're getting a decent crowd every single Monday. It seems like the comics are loving it. We just had a showcase show for Wednesday night, which was really great.
Who makes your guys's posters and AI and stuff? Is it AI? I mean,
that is AI with the help of our buddy Jesse. Let me look up his last name real quick. I'm so sorry, Jesse. I don't know why I'm blank. Arenas, I want to say his last name is.
Because I mean, me and Sparky talk about it every time we see him, but every single one of your guys' posters are hilarious. The Thanksgiving one was great. I mean, whoever does these does a fantastic job.
Yeah, that's our buddy Jesse Arenas, who's local fan of the comedy scene and graphic designer. And we just give him basic ideas, and I want to say once a month he'll just unload 5 or 6 hilarious ones on us. I'm like, okay, we're using that one and that one and that one. Perfect.
That's awesome. I mean, again, he does a fantastic job, and it has to do wonders pulling people in for a lot of these shows.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are some times where some of our jokes don't land because they're too niche. Like when I was like, oh, I'll do something for the 50th anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald. And all of my friends back in the Midwest were like, that's hilarious. But everyone in California is like, the what? What ship? Huh?
Yeah,
what happened?
I don't think you're going to get that.
Yeah,
one
no.
here in Cali.
Yeah. No,
maybe in San Diego.
Maybe. Yeah. But definitely not in landlocked city like Bakersfield. No. Yeah, you guys don't know nothing about Great Lakes shipping.
We love our military, but ain't nobody know nothing about no history.
Yeah.
No.
So open mic. If you're a new listener, if you've never heard of this open mic.
It is Made You Laugh Mondays at the Firehouse Rosedale Station over on Callaway. Every Monday night starts at 7. If you want to try your hand at stand-up comedy, which we love, new stand-up comics coming out and trying out. Show up at doors are at 6. Sign-ups are at 6:30.
Fantastic. And again, you guys are open to anybody, no matter what the experience, right?
Oh, absolutely. No matter what the experience level. If you've opened for national touring headliners, if this is your very first time doing stand-up comedy, we don't care. We love the newcomers coming out because that's new comics got to come from somewhere. Everybody's got to do it their first time. Everybody has to try their first time somewhere. So
absolutely.
We'd love it to be with us. We have a.
How long traditionally do you give newcomers?
5 minutes. We usually give them a stand in front. What I usually say though for newcomers is don't feel like you have to do the whole 5. If you run out of steam at 3.5, that's fine. Go ahead, thank the audience for their time. Get off stage and take your win. That hey, awesome! I had 3.5 good minutes.
I did it.
Awesome, cool. Better to do that and be like, ooh, did I really need to do that last 90 seconds?
Right. I mean,
5 minutes is a lot longer than you expect.
It really is.
That's the advice I'd give to newcomers. 5 minutes is longer than you'd think until you've done it enough times where you just kind of have that internal clock.
Right. And then obviously it's easier for you to get your jokes out when you know how much time you have.
Exactly. But it's kind of like a quarterback will learn what 6 seconds is in the pocket. But when you're starting out, you're like, wait, that was what? He was on me and how quickly?
Some quarterbacks learn what the pocket is. 6 seconds.
Yeah, some quarterbacks learn pocket presence, just like some comics learn how to work the crowd.
I've watched a couple of them there in Las Vegas recently that don't know what pocket presence is, and it's gotten pretty ugly, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, that's the learning journey of of like, hey, sometimes you learn the pocket presence, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But sir, thank you so much for your time. We
Oh, no
really truly
problem.
appreciate it. Anything else you want to pump up before we let you go?
Let's see. I no, just
Do you have any solo shows
Oh
yourself?
yeah, I completely forgot. Geez, see, this is why I love having Tyson with me, because he's the promo machine, and I always forget these things and just talk about love of the game. No, for any of you folks that are going to be in the LA area on Wednesday, I'm going to be at the Ice House Comedy Club in Pasadena as part of the Guys Night end of year best of show. So
Right
pretty excited
on.
about that.
Fantastic, sir. Thank you so much for your time. We will talk to you very, very soon. We got to
Alright.
take a break real quick. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Part of me wants to wait. The other part of me is so being scared of what's on the other end of this.
Jimmy.
This is the Early Bird Special, though, right here on KGEO Sports Talk 101.1 FM, 12:30 AM. No, you do not choose the wrong radio station. This is KGEO Sports Talk Formerly ESPN Bakersfield.
Oh, he said it.
I'm just sorry. I'm sorry, Blickman. If I said formerly, I said formerly. If you missed our explanation of it, you can go to our YouTube channel at the Early Bird Special right there at the beginning of the show. We explain exactly what's going on, and you can go back and watch every single EBS episode as well on that YouTube channel, as well as our Facebook, and I believe on our Twitch as well, where we stream every single day from 7 to 9 in the morning. We got any text messages on the board? I got a couple here on Facebook.
It says buy ESPN and buy Raiders question.
No, Raiders.
Is that what you guys didn't air the Raider game yesterday?
No, I believe Raiders will still be with us. I am not 100% unsure on that one, but I'm pretty sure the Raiders will still be with us. But yes, bye-bye ESPN. Unfortunately, that is the caveat of all of it. So
the next one says Survivor Series was awesome, but really was hoping that Cena would beat that dirty Don dude.
As he is my GOAT, I was as well, but Dom is a fantastic wrestler. John is giving back to everything within the business. And the more I sat down and thought about it yesterday, the more it made sense, because none of the final four would benefit from really getting the Intercontinental Championship.
Solo.
I think Solo's kind of propelled himself a little bit too big for those now. Although you're right. I mean, the last one he had was the US, but I wouldn't be surprised if Solo starts getting to go or getting a chance at Cody rather than, Ilya. I think he is big enough now where you can do that. He's been a fantastic leader of the MFTs. So, but that's just a personal, opinion of mine. And then on the YouTube side, we got our guy Jeremy just saying #fins up, keep it going, Miami Dolphins. You guys did look good this weekend.
Till the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, well.
And Tua looked like garbage.
Look, man.
All game.
I'm trying to find the positives in both your game and mine, because my team did the exact same thing as the Falcons felt the Jets.
Tua looked good the first couple games, or the last couple games, but he looked like trash this game, and I had to start him this week because my quarterback was out, and it was 1 point. But we pulled off a win. A-Chain, he does not get enough credit for what he does, and this kid is running all over. He broke 1,000 yards for the first time of his career, and at the end, they won. They're on a 3-game winning streak, and we get the Jets next week.
Hopefully you could beat him, because apparently Tyrod is good enough to beat Kirk Cousins. I mean, anybody is good enough to beat Kirk Cousins right now.
It feels like the Falcons, they compete. They're like the Dolphins. They play up and down to teams, no matter how good or how bad. But it was just a weird week of football.
It really was. It was a weird week. I don't know if it's the Thanksgiving holiday. Maybe everybody came into the games a little lazy. But regardless, the Falcons keep up a 2-5 away record right now on a 4-8 record overall. There are not many fandoms, I believe, that are more in pain than Atlanta's. I know a lot of people have more historical pain. That is 100% factual. But to lose to the Jets 27-24 when you had a touchdown lead with, I believe, 5-6 minutes left to go in the game, and in my opinion, the best tandem at running back in the league in Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson, who are both doing fantastic in this game. I think this comes down to the coaching. I think at this point, much like we talk about with the Raiders and Pete Carroll, I mean, the Raiders have already fired his offensive coordinator and his special teams coordinator. Next is you.
It's got to come.
I think Atlanta's in the exact same boat, although not firing any coordinators per se. But Raheem Morris, not really the coach that you were hoping he would be. I think at the time, he was the perfect coach because you needed somebody to rally the troops. But now, you need somebody that's going to come in and is going to mold this team into a championship team, especially the offense. You cannot squander having a team with 4 first-round picks on the offense, 4 potential best players in their position when drafted. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that about Penix. Penix came in with a lot of other quarterbacks, but you get what I'm saying. You can't squander that kind of opportunity. And that's exactly what Atlanta is doing right now. We're seeing Carolina have success.
I was just going to say, I mean, we got to bring it up because, I mean, Carolina, I get it. They're not a Super Bowl contender, but they're finding ways to win.
Which is, I think that's based around their defense and their defense's ability to create turnovers. It has really, it's kind of like the Jacksonville Jaguars. When they really can get to the quarterback and create turnovers, they win. And I know that's obvious. Duh. That's simple football. But when you really take into account how little that happens in the NFL, it's actually pretty impressive on how much the Carolina Panthers have been able to do it to top tier teams.
And a couple of weeks ago, everybody was talking about the Colts, and they keep losing these close games. I understand Daniel Jones is dealing with a broken fibula
Yes.
and all sorts of other injuries on that team.
But even for them to have done what they did in a losing effort, but still,
Houston is showing up, man, and it's another team with a tough defense. Do you think the Houston Texans can actually find themselves in this?
I think the Houston Texans can find themselves in the playoffs, probably in a wild card spot. But I think with the lead that the Colts have already created, I think it's probably insurmountable in that area, taking the division away from them, because all the Colts really need to do is win 1 or 2 more games, which I think they're capable of doing on Jonathan Taylor's back alone. But making it past that in the playoffs, no. Now that we know that Daniel Jones is dealing with an injury, a fractured fibula, which is going to come into consideration later, especially since he's now no longer going to be able to run like he is used to. It's going to be hard for the Colts to really keep up the success offensively that they've seen so far. So I wouldn't say that they're going to be a Super Bowl contender anymore, but taking the division definitely is still on the table.
And I was going to wait until Tyson was here, but obviously he couldn't make it. But I mean, with the Chargers and the Denver Broncos, the Chiefs pretty much found their way out of this playoff race, I think. But overall, I mean, with Herbert's injury, which it doesn't seem to be season ending, but he's going to miss a week or two. I mean, are the Chargers now looking up? You think the Chargers are probably screwed for this season?
Probably. I mean, realistically, when it comes to how they find success, it is all based around Justin Herbert and his ability to play the quarterback position. I mean, granted, Jim loves to run the football, and you're going to get a lot of that with Trey Lance. We saw a little bit of it this past weekend against the Raiders,
With
because
Hampton coming back next week.
hopefully
He was supposed to be back this week.
Yeah, that's going to be the big thing. Is he back? Do they really even need him back? Because Vidal, again, 125 yards and looked fantastic, although against the Raiders, still, when he needs to, steps up. So do they really need him back? But I don't know who cursed the Chargers and the 49ers, but somebody cursed the hell out of those two franchises this season, because they can't find a healthy player. Like, I don't think there's a single player on that roster that's healthy right now, including the ones that are playing.
Yeah, and then when they do, they lose another guy.
Exactly. And it's getting ugly. But I feel for Justin. I do. I'm glad to hear that it's not a long-term injury, because I did hear it was a broken hand or something in the hand. And those are rough to get healed, especially when it's a quarterback. Luckily, it's not his throwing hand, which is probably why he's coming back at some point.
Yeah, news said he's having surgery today and should be out a week or two.
It's kind of like the Cincinnati Bengals right now, though, with Joe Burrow. As much as I would love to see Joe Burrow play out the rest of the season, you lose one more game, your season's over. Is it really even worth it? Like, I say the same thing with Justin. As much as I would love to say Justin Herbert, you need to play the whole season. If they lose these next 2 weeks without Justin and kind of see themselves falling out of the playoff picture, do you even bring Justin back to play with a broken hand and potentially risk him getting hurt even further? I don't know. I don't think it's a smart idea, but I won't say their chances are dead yet. The Chargers still look solid on defense, but it's definitely dwindling with the star quarterback hurt. I can't sit there and say they're anybody's favorite right now. Let's take a break real quick. We got to get into the NBA with our guy Snacks on the other side, and then we'll wrap it up with some entertainment, as Stranger Things came out over the Thanksgiving break, and I know both myself and Sparky watched it, and I am very excited to talk about this. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. I know this one. Welcome back. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. Do we have our guy Snacks on the phone? Fantastic. Let's talk some NBA basketball because there was plenty of that happened over the weekend as well. I got some questions because are we seeing the most dominant team in modern history with the Thunder because they are 20-1 right now, or actually I think higher than that. And I don't know if there's any team in the NBA right now that could really beat them. I don't know what our friend Snacks thinks, but let's get his thoughts. Sir, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning. How's everyone?
I am well. What are you out for a run? What's going on?
No, I'm out in my bed underneath the sheet.
It's Monday. No one wanted to be back after a holiday break, man.
Man.
I get it. But I mean, like he said, OKC's the real deal.
Dude, what's going on? Are we seeing the most dominant team in the NBA? Maybe a back-to-back kind of a situation here?
Most definitely, we're going to see them in the finals. In today's sports, I always just question how long can they stay healthy. But
right,
if they can stay healthy, we are in for a treat, fellas. Because I think they're just well-rounded. They're young, well-rounded. They have depth on the team where if anybody gets hurt, they don't really skip a beat. So, and I think the thing that people are missing with the OKC Thunder is the chemistry. Those guys is. And you got to think the other Williams is not even playing. Is he back yet?
I don't believe he is. No, I don't believe Jalen's playing yet. And that's a very good point because when you really look at what they have done throughout this season already, they should be 21-0. Like that one game they lost really was one of those that you could have chalked up to a whatever. And all I keep seeing on the internet, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this as well, is the style of play that they're playing. Although I agree with you, the chemistry is there, but everybody's been hypercritical on their essentially just drawing fouls too often, as people are saying now. I don't get it with the NBA fan. It feels like a couple years ago we were crying that they never call fouls for stars, and now they're crying that they're calling fouls too often for stars. What's the middle ground here? Especially you being a referee, how do you guys kind of approach this?
Chris, you should never be a referee. I'll tell you that because here's the reason: you're never going to make anybody happy.
Exactly.
Nope.
Because it's kind of like when I ref, it's like, man, you're not calling fouls, and then when you start blowing the whistle too much, man, let them play. Like, okay,
exactly.
Well, which one do you want us to do? Anyways, as an official, you really just go with the flow of the game. You take what they give you, and I know a lot of folks want to, put officiating at a different level when it comes to professional sports like NFL or NBA. But you're really just taking what teams get you. And these players are so good these days. They're actually training over the summer on how to, not just different moves, but how to get to the line more. Because it's that much harder to score these days. So you kind of just got to take what they give you. I don't know if it's a really separation of the stars going to the line more. I mean, if you really look at it, the statistics of the play, the stars have the ball in their hand a lot more, so of course they're going to get fouled more. SGA has the ball in his hands, a good almost 80% of the time, and he's really only passing the ball off if he's getting stuck, penetrating to the lane. So, and he's become so good at drawing fouls. It's like you just got to take what they give you.
That's what I was just going to say. He's almost mastered, whether he's driving, but he knows how to draw that foul. And you can complain all you want, but they'll show the replay, and it is a foul. I mean, it's got to be a tough job, like you said. You can't win by being a ref, and either way, you're going to piss off some people.
I don't mean to simplify it by comparing it to somebody, but to me, all SGA is playing like he's playing like Kobe used to. He's playing very methodical, just taking the ball to his defender. He'll do the pick and pop sometimes if he needs to, but I don't see anything that he's doing now that we haven't seen from stars from back a couple years ago. And I don't mean to make that sound like he's nothing special. He's fantastic, but it's more of, I don't get why people are upset when you're seeing this happen. We saw it with Kobe. He got the exact same calls, man. Like, I don't get it.
And he's honestly not doing anything new. People don't really follow FIBA basketball, but a lot of people, basketball players, play like this. New to the American eye because we just used to watching one-on-one basketball or spread the lane out and just give it to the best player and let them figure it out. So this is nothing new to the basketball eye if you've been watching FIBA basketball because this is how they play, and they play way more physical over in FIBA. So if you don't like physical basketball, you should never watch FIBA basketball because they barely call anything. So enjoy the whistles that you get in the NBA game because it's way different over in FIBA basketball. So he's really not doing anything different. He just brought that game over to the NBA game, and now it's frustrating to the NBA.
And now with the Lakers getting LeBron back, I was a little nervous on seeing what LeBron was going to bring to this team when they were playing already hot. And it seems like he's almost fit perfectly with the type. He's not trying to take over unless he's needed. And it just seems like it's kind of flowing.
It's funny. I see the internet running with this entire idea that now it is Luka as Batman, Austin Reeves as Robin, and LeBron as Alfred. He's just serving people up.
Come on.
He's serving stuff up on a platter, bro. I'm telling you, he does what
good.
he needs to do, and he's still a badass when you need him to be.
He is.
I'm just saying, it kind of fits.
You gotta kind of agree with it, but was the sciatic really hurting? We don't know. But I think that was part of the game plan. Let me sit out for a while and let me see where I fit in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because you're in year 23. Like, you're not going to be the LeBron that we all know.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been preached every time we talk about LeBron. His best game is when he's below the free throw line. So I think him sitting out was the best thing for the team. I think that was everybody's concern, like how he's going to mesh when he comes back. But we all have to remember, if you listen to him and Steve Nash talk basketball, LeBron is no fluke when it comes to basketball IQ. That's one person you don't have to worry about figuring it out. And
right.
When I listen to him, it's like it's frustrating playing with him because he's so smart that other players aren't as smart as him. So they're like, bro, what are you talking about? So him sitting out, I think, actually helped him out to see where he fits in when he came back.
Well, see, and I think it also did something that I don't think Laker fans are even considering right now. When we started this season, if you remember, we were hearing a lot of unhappy comments from the Austin Reeves camp about having to play with Luka and how this was going to work, how much he didn't think that this was going to work, the two of them working together. Now, with LeBron sitting out, they have gotten an opportunity for the two of them to see what could be with just the two of them. And I think they are thriving together. And I think that has really stomped out any concern Laker fans had with Austin Reeves potentially being on his way out after this season. What are your thoughts?
Again, I think it was a great mesh. I think they had him on the court at the same time. People were undermining JJ. I think, again, people are forgetting how good JJ Redick was as a player and his basketball IQ. And people lack, again, as in NBA, we got so accustomed to just seeing all-stars just take the ball and do what they want and forget that you actually have to have an IQ for basketball. That's why the Kobe's were so great. Michael Jordan was so great and all these greats because they actually took the game serious. They broke the game down other than just going out there and play. And JJ Redick has a true basketball mind. So this is really not much of a surprise to me, but I can get how it's a surprise to a lot of fans.
I agree.
Even with the Ayton, they're finding the five that they need for the starting. But going in, last night, having Joel back in, he looked like he was he shook off some dust. They did lose in double overtime, but I'm looking at the NBA Cup. I know it's the championships here in a couple of weeks. I believe it's the 15th or 14th. No one knows unless you're watching it. But I'm looking. We talked about the Lakers. We talked about the Thunder. But looking over at the East, not only is the Raptors in the mix, but the Magic. You brought up the Magic when we first started doing these segments, and they're looking good.
Yeah. I always look at the teams that don't have superstars. They mesh better. Because they're actual team. They're not standing around watching what the superstar is going to do, or we don't have to play through the superstar. We can just play our game. We can move the ball. We can backdoor cut. We can get open shots. And those teams are the ones that sneak up on you because you're just so used to standing around in the NBA game and watching superstars play. That's why, the Lakers are doing okay, but you add a superstar, it's like, okay. But you got somebody like Orlando who really doesn't technically have a household name. Those teams are the ones that thrive. Even Cleveland last year, yes, they had Donovan Mitchell, but outside of Donovan Mitchell, who was the household name?
True.
And they thrived. The Pacers. They had Halliburton, but we didn't really look at him as a household name until last year.
Not until the playoffs. You're absolutely right. And honestly, you could really equate it to the Thunder. I mean, the Thunder are a great way to look at it because although now SGA is a superstar, when they got him, he wasn't. And they have really thrived together through chemistry. I think it's more just in today's game, you need depth. You have to have depth, and like it to a greater degree now than they ever needed it back in the 90s or the 80s.
Yeah, look at the Mavericks.
Exactly. I mean, without somebody to back up your star player, you're still lacking. You know what I mean? So it's a weird place to put it. Before we let you go, I have to highlight this because we've talked a lot about the West. The East Coast, though, we knew was going to be wide open coming into this season. I don't think anybody saw who's number one right now being number one. The Detroit Pistons right now leading the East over the Knicks, over the Toronto Raptors and their incredible streak. What are your thoughts on how JB Bickerstaff's been able to turn this entire squad around?
I always thought that the Detroit Pistons had it. They just didn't. Again, they didn't have the depth that you talked about, or they didn't have the pieces to get over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going back to really not having a household name, but their guard play is pretty good. And that guard play, if you really look at it, they've been together for 3-4 years now with Ivy and the other kid,
Cade Cunningham.
Cade Cunningham. So when you put those two together, or you get that chemistry together for 3 to 4 years, and you put some pieces around it and get everybody to mesh, it's really when it comes to the NBA, it's just getting the egos out the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
And just say, hey, man, let's just ball and not worry about who's getting the ball 90% of the time. The hell who's getting paid $1 trillion. Let's just go out here and ball. And I think that's what you're seeing with the Pistons. Again, not a household name, not enough, a lot of superstars, but they're getting the job done. And so teams are going in there just being surprised because they're just playing hard and playing basic basketball and knocking down shots. So that's what we get. I think the playoffs are going to be very surprising, and not a lot of superstars are going to be in it.
Right. And I mean, obviously, this is just the first quarter of the season, but do you see the Pistons keeping this up?
I can see if they don't trade anybody, because they do have a trade deadline on the middle of the season. So if everybody keeps their pieces, then yes.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, sir, for your time. We will talk to you next week.
Yes, sir. Yeah, have a good one.
Get some sleep.
Absolutely.
Right back.
Thanks, brother. Let's take a break real quick. On the other side, we'll get some entertainment news out of the way as Stranger Things was released over the Thanksgiving holiday. And I personally cannot wait for all the spinoffs that have been announced. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. the exact same song. I played the exact same song last week. Hilarious. This is not a replay of last week, I promise. This is the early bird special on this first day of December. Wow. First day of Christmas season.
Insane.
And honestly, Netflix is cooking all of us.
It is.
I can't wait another month. I can't wait another month for 3 more episodes. And then another week after that for the final.
New Year's Eve.
Okay, and also I was kind of disappointed, I'm not gonna lie to you, because when this was explained to me, we were gonna get like 2-hour episodes throughout the entire final season of Stranger Things. I am assuming what it actually is, or at least I'm hoping what it actually is, these next 3, including the finales, are gonna be like movies. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe
Was
that
it
was
like a
all
little over an
hogwash.
hour episode?
It honestly didn't even matter. Every single one of those first 4 episodes for Stranger Things season 5 were fantastic.
And we tried to space it out. We watched the first one, and then we went to dinner,
Couldn't
and
do
then
it.
came back, and we're like,
Couldn't do it.
we're just gonna watch the second one now, and then after,
Couldn't.
we're just gonna binge watch all of them again. Okay, and I leaned up to it. I watched season 4 before the holiday break, so I was ready, and I missed a few things. So I was like, cool, I'm going into this, and then it kind of just went to a whole different story. And I like that they're doing the background, and me and my son were making our guesses on, who's behind the wall, who's behind the door. And we kind of figured, okay, it's going to be the sister, because that whole season was just off the wall. Like, okay, well, the sister's got to be somewhere. And of course, she was the one.
They never
but
really do explain that after that episode. We only really get a handful of episodes with the sister and her offset X-Men, I guess is the best way to put them. And again, sorry, spoiler warning if you haven't watched Stranger Things. You can turn off the radio for 5-10 minutes while we talk about this for a sec, because if you missed out, I don't know what the heck you were watching over the break.
Everyone watched
the
it.
rest of the world was watching this.
This is the first time Netflix before
funny?
crashed for 10 minutes.
This is funny to me because when I hear and again, I don't mean to date myself or make anybody feel old, but when I hear the older generation talk about how television used to be, how everybody, gathered around the TV on specific days at specific times, and if you didn't see that episode, you were the pariah afterwards. This is our version of that. And it's funny to me because it's like, we see it as so different from what it was back then. It's really not. It's the exact same thing, just on a different platform. It's just crazy to me.
It's like what we're doing with Derry.
Yeah, exactly. With Welcome to Derry, which also was a fantastic episode.
Too short.
I hope the finale is like 2 hours long. But
and
also
it's coming soon too.
Not to mix this up and get people confused, but to switch over to Welcome to Derry, if you didn't watch the latest episode of that one, we're now painting that Pennywise was a real human.
Yeah.
So is the creature now just using Pennywise's image throughout all of this time, or is it actually him?
It almost feels like they're setting it up where Pennywise is just another person.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's where I didn't really understand it. I'm like, are we setting up that Pennywise is a human that somehow is still alive throughout all of these timelines, or are we setting up that somehow, some way, Pennywise the dancing clown met this creature, and the creature said, "Oh, I'm using you."
Yep.
As my image, and just started doing it that way.
Kind of like what Stranger Things is doing with Vecna.
Yeah, kind of. And again, I can't wait. I'm sorry, I just switched back over, but this entire finale is going to get so good when we get it on Christmas Day. That's going to be the best Christmas present I get all year.
Yes,
it is. I'm sorry. I love my family to death, but you guys could get me a brand new car, and I'm not going to care. The best thing that I'm going to see on Christmas Day is going to be the altercation between now super-powered Will, 11, and Vecna. That's going to be sick.
And now that I rewatched it, and now I'm seeing, okay, the stories are like, okay, well, in the beginning, when it was actually, what is his name? Not Vecna, but his real name.
Henry.
Henry was actually setting up to get Will.
I knew
in the beginning. But the sister, the little sister, was actually a part of the whole thing from the beginning. And I'm now reading that the mom that what is this? What is now in the coma or knocked out?
Wolfhart's mom. Yeah.
Yeah, that she was actually his sister.
Oh, okay.
So now that they're even stretching it where she was involved with this the whole time, and that's why he's
Maybe.
going after the daughter.
I mean, again, I wouldn't be
I'm like, oh
surprised.
my
It's Hollywood.
gosh.
For them to spin it all that way wouldn't necessarily surprise me at
Well, I guess
all.
there was the first shadow of
Mhm.
Stranger Things before all this. That's what the story was. It was its actual mom is the sister, and the blah 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 blah, and they're going to stretch this out. But they've already announced that Nancy Wheeler's spinoff is already starting. It's supposed to start in Netflix in the next week. I'm like, okay, well, they're going to eat it up. You put up anything Stranger Things, they're going to eat it up right now because everyone is waiting for the next 3 episodes.
We're gonna eat it up afterwards too. This is like Game of
Mhm.
Thrones, man. You can literally throw out. They're literally making a random spinoff of Game of Thrones called A Night of Westeros, which has nothing to do with any of the families whatsoever. And every single Game of Thrones fan is still gonna watch that like it's church on Sunday. Like that's how devout fan bases are with this type of stuff. I can't wait. I'm super
Was there any
excited.
surprises? Anything you were actually happy or not as happy with this the 4
I
episodes?
loved how badass mom was against the Demigorgon. I
Of
hate
course.
dad. Dad is dad. Bye. Mom badass though. The only thing and the way Vecna looks now in this season looks really
Oh, the
cool.
graphics
Post
look so much better.
fire and all that stuff. Like he's clearly healed and all that, but like in a sadistic way.
We can see the graphic change from 5 years
Mhm.
ago.
It's incredible. But my probably the biggest surprise of the entire season was the Will turn at the very end, him getting superpowers or figuring out he has powers. But I thought it was really cool, and I didn't realize this till over the weekend, that all of the memories that Will was going through during that little flashback sequence were the ones that the family members were telling or were reciting back to him in season 2 when mom and Mike and all these people are trying to get him to snap out of the brainwashing that Vecna put him through. He's witnessing all of those memories, which means we're witnessing all of those memories for the first time with him. I thought that was a really cool callback. And again, just great work by the directors. The
And how
brothers
they
are doing
returned Max.
fantastic. Yep, Max was cool. Can't wait to see how that all ends up because obviously they're going to be fighting a war on 2 fronts.
And there's so many different stories going on. It was like bouncing back and forth. I'm like, oh yeah.
Then to see Will be able to pull up all 3 Demigorgons and essentially kill them the way that Vecna has been killing the kids really was also a cool little parallel because now we're going to be seeing, okay, you're going to sit there and say that I'm not even useful to you anymore? Fantastic. I'm going to mess up your whole plan now. This is essentially going to be the teenage kid who gets forgotten by the parent who's using the rest of the kids.
Where's
And
the pizza dude?
That is the other one.
That was the only
I'm
one.
not
I was
sure.
like, where's he?
Yeah, they didn't
Dude.
bring back our guy from those comedy movies, which I can't remember his name right now, the long-haired guy, but he's fantastic. I need an Eddie Munson though.
Yeah, and I know it's not gonna happen.
I know, but I would love to see Vecna somehow bring back Eddie, Max's brother, and all the people that were connected throughout the rest of the series in some final clash, Avengers style. But I don't know where this is going to go. I really don't. Shoot, at this point, Vecna could win at the end of all of this, and I'd be happy. I'm not going to lie to you.
They're gonna have to end it somehow.
I know. And honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing the villain win in this situation. Not that I, like the guy, but it's more of just that would be an interesting way to end it. I won't lie. That is all for us today, though. We got to get out of the way for the great Rich Eisen. Join us back here tomorrow, every single day for the rest of the week as well, 7 to 9 a.m. as we always do. But until then, we'll see you tomorrow. Sparky, let's get out of here.